Hi everyone, my name's Luke and welcome to this van tour. This van is a 59 plate Fiat Ducato, medium wheelbase, 120 multi-jet, whatever that means. So this van I have been building for the last few months, and I would say it's finally at a point where I can sell it. So starting on the outside, we have, as you can see, a sliding window here on this side. If we come round to the back, we have two windows on the rear doors, all with privacy tint. These windows are actually dyed, not tint. These windows come from a company called VGC, Vehicle Glass Company. Fantastic windows. Absolutely love these windows. I've given the wheels a bit of a quick sand and paint with some black hammerite paint to tidy them up, and gave it a wash the other day, but it has been raining. Okay, let's do this. Okay, let's start on this kitchen. I'm really quite chuffed with this kitchen. It's actually made out of a piece of marine ply. It's come out really nice. We've sanded it and stained it and treated it with a food grade oil. I've routed the end so you've got no sharp edges to bash into. Really quite like the worktop, and I especially like this little plinth that I've made for it. Hope you can see. I would have liked to have made a little plinth for the back as well, just so things wouldn't ever fall off, or not that you would. All these decorative pieces wouldn't be sitting here during transit anyway, but I quite like the worktop. Moving over to the sink, we found and bought a copper jam pan sink. Also found a copper plug that I cut a hole in the bottom of the sink. Like one of them push fit things to seal the sink up. Needs a bit of a wash. So yeah, put a copper plug in the bottom of it. Also this black shower headed tap, which you can pull out and rinse around. It's weighted in the bottom, so it does pull itself back in. So yeah, I really like the kitchen worktop. Black glass 2-burner hob. On the end of the kitchen unit, you've got two switches. One is for the ceiling lights and one is for the water pump. There is a submersible whale pump in here. I'll show you that in a second. In the center of our fridge, the focal point of the front of this is our Dometic CRX 50. These fridges are highly sought after, hugely popular. They're one of the most economical fridges you can get. It's only a 50-litre version, but this fridge has a little freezer compartment at the top as well, which is removable. Very good fridge is this. There is nothing in this cupboard. It has the cables for the switch and for the clicker of the hob. There's also nothing in the bottom of this cupboard, but it's any size cupboard for storage, cleaning supplies, or whatever you want. In this cupboard over here, as I mentioned, there is a couple of water tanks. There is one for drinking water at the front, and there's a smaller wastage tank at the back. I need to tidy up these cables a bit more, but yeah, inside this one there is a submersible whale pump. Moving to the side of the fridge here, we have this door into the garage, which is our large storage area below the bed. Rather than just have a door, I built this little extra storage area. You could have it as a spice rack or some little shelves of books or whatnot. Thought that was quite a nice little touch with the stained wood and the copper pipe. You can quite easily open this and get into the garage area below. I will show you that from the back of the van in a moment. Moving around, we have the controls for the diesel heater. This is the Victron 712 smart battery monitor. The switch below the diesel heater's display is a switch for the lights in the garage. I will show you them working in a mo. If we look on the ceiling, we've got a lovely cladded stained, warm oak stained ceiling, 4 warm white lights, white/yellow, but they call it a warm white. We've also got this huge 500 by 700 SkyMax skylight, which has integrated fly net and blackout blinds. Either side of the van there are these overhead cupboards. There's 3 large cupboards on this side of the van, which is the driver's side of the van, and there are 2 cupboards on this side of the van. I actually made these doors out of ply. These doors over here are actually cladding, and I'm going to be replacing these before this van sells with what I've done over this side. These are actually 9mm ply doors, and I have used a router to make the lines to make it look like that cladding feel. I think cladded doors kind of, they're a little bit thin and they warp a little bit, and yeah, they can work, but if this side, just not happy with it. I like to use rope around the sort of edges. It gives it that nice nautical rustic feel. So yeah, quite like little touches like that. And I think the white works really well with this dark oak. In the bed area, we've gone for soft finishings all the way around to make it nice and cozy with this carpet stuck on the back doors and the walls either side. The insulation wasn't quite as thick at the head of the bed to give you a nice long 6 foot 5 foot in length bed. It's a 4 foot wide, small double in England, but it's 6 foot 5 inches, which is a nice long bed. So yeah, that sleeps 2. The sofa can also sleep an adult, measuring 6 foot 3 in length. Above the sofa, I really like what we did with this windowsill. This is actually a piece of skirting board. It's a bit dusty. This is actually a piece of skirting board that I have sanded, cut and stained. It matches all the stained wood in here. It looks beautiful actually as a windowsill. This is actually a really beautiful fabric that my wife chose, in fact. And between my wife and my mother-in-law, they have fabricated these incredibly well. They have zips on the back so you can remove the fabric to wash. Underneath this particular grey fabric, my wife has covered it all with this white fire retardant fabric. I don't know what it's called, but yeah, so underneath this it's all covered in white as well, so that's been very well fabricated by my wife. And my wife has also made these matching pillowcases out of the same material, which also have a little, which also are removable for washing if needed. So underneath this whole half of the sofa is storage. This all lifts up, and there's a huge amount of storage under there. Underneath this half of the sofa, there is a curtained area which is built to house the Thetford 145 Porta Potty. That fits in there lovely. You can see here, this is the vent for the heater. There is a diesel heater at the back of this cupboard. This is a 5 kilowatt diesel heater which warms this van up very nicely, very quickly. Above the bed, in the same fabric as the sofa and those cushions, we've got this curtain which has a nice big storage area above the cab. This seat here, we have adapted the twin passenger seat, and we cut it in half and we've fabricated it and sewn it and put it back in, and also installed this little table which has got a little cup holder, again stained in the warm oak stuff that we've got. So now we've got quick access in and out of the cab with 2 single seats. I do like the cab. It's very smart in these Fiat Ducatos. I love the little clipboard thing. It's super, super handy. This van is obviously like a grey blue. So yeah, as you can see, this door is now white, so we've painted it. Obviously, after the sound deadening, insulation and vapor barrier, we painted all the doors, and we painted all of the door, and we covered the inserts with carpeted covered ply. So that looks very smart. As I mentioned before, these windows both open. That one slides backwards, and so does this one. The back rear windows don't open, they are fixed, but it's lovely to be able to have view at the back of your van here. Lay on this bed and look out at whatever views you decide to park next to. Quite a tricky area to tidy up is the bulkhead. Now I managed to cut out and cover in carpet this whole surround. It's actually in 2 pieces, it splits behind the cupboard so you don't ever see the join. But I think I followed the inside profile of the plastic trim, I think, quite well. It pops out down the bottom there. But yeah, I really quite like what we did there with the surround for the bulkhead. Going down to the floor is this really nice solid wood looking vinyl, which matches all the dark wood that we've got in here. I think that looks really smart, that floor. So at the back of the van now, as I mentioned previously, we've carpeted the inside of these doors. They look very smart. beyond, you can see the massive storage space that we've got in here for the van. You can store your bikes in here and all your camping equipment, etc, etc. So this van has been built to be a fully off-grid van. You could have this van for traveling or full-time living. So electricity is hugely important. So we installed 2 massive 175 watt solar panels, giving this van a total of 350 watts of solar. They are currently wired in parallel. That's how I prefer to wire solar panels together. And they feed down to the 50 amp Victron MPPT charge controller, together with the Orion, which charges the batteries while driving. Together, they both charge these 2 130 amp hour AGM batteries. I'm a big fan of AGM batteries. This is a smart shunt, which controls that display for the battery monitor. Various breakers and switches there to make it all nice and safe. So I started working in this van in the winter. Now, if you've ever been away in the winter, you know that it gets pretty cold in the van, so insulation is key. This van has Dodo mat products for all of the insulation. So they provided the sound deadening, the Thermo Liner Pro, and the Dodo fleece, the woolen plastic recycled bottle, plastic woolen insulation made from recycled plastic bottles. So as much of that as we could is crammed into the entirety of this van, other than the floor, which is insulated with 25mm Celotex Kingspan, that kind of insulation. Above the bed, we have 2 touch-sensitive reading lights, which you can angle. They've also got USB ports on the side of them for charging those devices that we all rely on so much. So I hope you've enjoyed that van tour. The full camper conversion playlist is on my YouTube channel. See link above or in the video description down below. My YouTube channel is all about building and travelling in camper vans, so if that's something that interests you, please do consider subscribing to the channel. And don't forget to hit that little notification bell so you don't miss any of my uploads. Thank you very much for watching. See you soon.